It's been a decisive weekend in the Premier League, both at the top and the bottom of the Premier League. We're here to discuss it all as the transfer deadline has just slammed shut at 7 o'clock, which Josh is not happy about. He's just vented his frustration to me before we came on air. He's not happy that it shuts at 7 o'clock. Josh, you wanted an 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock deadline, didn't you?
Yeah, I don't know why it's gone like that this year. I think in Scotland it's still 11. I saw that before. I don't know why they've changed that, but yeah, oh well.
Not
I
happy
don't
about it.
Villa aren't doing anything today anyway, so it doesn't really affect us.
Well, you've got FFP to deal with, as you make us aware, Josh, so you can't sign anyone, can you?
No, that's I mean. It was a quiet one for Villa anyway, so it doesn't really affect us too much.
Sean, you're right, mate.
Not too bad, no, just not long gone from work, mate, so still in me scruffs at the moment.
There we go. We can accept it. Sean, we'll start with you to talk about your favourite team, favourite two teams, really. Leeds 0, Arsenal 4, in a weekend that feels decisive, unfortunately, for the title race, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think I'm probably not alone when I looked at this. I thought, oh, possible banana skin,
Yeah.
possible close game, but I can't remember the first goal, but is it Darlow, the keeper? He's almost chucked it in his own net to make it 2-0, didn't he? And with someone like Arsenal, I think if you go 2-0 down, that's probably the game over then. Yeah, I think that was the score at half time, to be honest. Um, well, I felt it was decisive a couple of months ago, to be honest, because I've never felt confident any other side could put a run together. I know the Arsenal fans are having a proper wobble because you notice Arteta possibly going a bit more negative. I think before today, the weekend, the strikers' forms dried up a little bit as well. What I didn't realise, I've seen a stat like their top goal scorers. Is the top one on like 5 or 6 or something like that?
Not
I,
a lot. No, it's
I
not a
think
lot.
before the weekend, their top goal scorer was own goal in the Premier League,
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
and that's I know in one way looking at it, it's great to spread the goals around, but it just adds another bit of unusualness in the league. Do you know what I mean? Like we're gonna have a team who should win the league by quite a bit, and they aren't going to have a goal scorer who scored over 15. I wouldn't have thought. Do you know what I mean? And that's
Mm.
quite unusual. Like quite often you'd have maybe a couple over 2 or 3 over 15, one into the 20s, maybe up to 30. Do you know what I mean? So it's been. I know you said it for ages. It's been a very unusual year. Um, Obviously they'll brag and brag and brag and brag when they win it. Their fans, you know that, but it doesn't. Like yesterday, we had our game. We had the old sort of dilemma: do some Tottenham fans want to lose to? A couple of years ago, when they played Man City, it was a little bit more of a bigger deal because that was closer to the end of the season. I think the gap was a lot closer, and you could really see City going for it, but not this year. Do you know what I mean? A lot of teams have had some very embarrassing little slip ups here and there. There's whispers of Villa going on a run, then they just throw in a howler. Do you know what I mean? You think Liverpool might get up ahead of steam and they'll chuck in a howler. Do you know what I mean? And Man City, for the last 2 years, Man City, I don't feel that you can really trust them like you used to be able to. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Remember for back probably a good 5 years, I'm guessing, if they were 1-0 down, you knew they'd win. It might be the 98th minute, you knew they'd win. Now I'll be honest, I didn't think we'd come back yesterday, but I think in most of their games, I don't think you're going into it knowing what City you're going to get, and I'll be shocked if Pep's there next year. It just feels like it's a natural fizzling out. I know we've gone off the Arsenal topic a little bit, but Arsenal will deserve it. They haven't been great on the eye. Do you know what I mean? They've tried the dark arts quite a lot, and the best team always wins the league end of the day, don't they? But it's not going to take a good team to win the league this season.
Exactly, and that sums up the way we are with the Premier League at the moment. Josh's granddad is here. Good evening to you. It was a disappointment. We'll come on to that next. Terry, I hope you are well. Yes, that emoji does sum it up pretty nicely, but yeah. Right, let's move on, shall we? Let's go to Stamford Bridge next. Chelsea 3, West Ham 2. A little bit of hope at half time after probably one of the worst 45 minutes I think I've ever seen from a Chelsea side, to be honest. They were pretty pretty unusually bad, and they've been bad recently, and they offered nothing. We dictated the game, got a bit lucky with the first goal. It's a brilliant finish from Somerville for the seconds, and there's always that feeling in the back of your mind that, you know, one goal will lead to three, and most obviously it did in that second half. And you know, Nuno's taken a lot of praise and you know, spirit over the last few weeks. He's got a lot of things right. He got a lot of things wrong in the second half on Saturday, and he will learn from that. And again, it's the 6th time since the end of, I think, November we have been in a commanding position of a game and threw it away. And when I mean commanding, I mean 2-0 up away at Bournemouth, 2-0 up away at Chelsea, 1-0 up with 3 minutes to go away at Brighton. The list goes on. We have been ahead and cruising in games, really, and it's come back to bite us on the backside. He made a substitution. Kilman comes on. We sit back even further just at the time when we needed a midfielder just to pack the midfield and try and create a bit of a battle for Chelsea. We sat back even further. Todibo misses a chance from 3 yards at the end. He gets sent off. We lose. It just sums the season up, to be honest. Josh, did you watch it?
Yeah, I did. I thought first half West Ham were too played as bad as Chelsea were. For every time they come forward on the break, that right hand side was Wan-Bissaka and Bowen were causing Chelsea real problems. Though to be fair, the left side for Chelsea, Hato and Garnacho must be one of the worst individual performances of the season from the pair of them. For they were both hooked at half time, and rightly so. Really, they were just getting destroyed down that half, or like just the whole half. And yeah, I thought West Ham looked really dangerous on the break. Even first about 10-15 minutes second half, I thought the same. And then until Chelsea scored, and then it just felt inevitable that they were going to get something out the game then. But you just mentioned there how since Nuno's come in, there's been a few times they've been in leading positions and lost games. I know you mentioned a few. There was also the Villa game where they were leading twice and ended up losing 3-2. I'm not sure if that's a mentality issue with the team, because usually Nuno teams, he's known for having defensively organised, strong mentality. Just usually at Forest, if Forest go 1-0 up, 2-0 up, they're not gonna lose the game. So I'm not sure if that's sort of a mentality issue with the team, because I thought Nuno would definitely sort that out. But it just seems like a common occurrence this season. It's been about 4 or 5 times in the last 6 weeks, really, where they can't hold on to leads, which I thought Nuno would sort out, to be honest. However, I still think that West Ham have got a decent chance. I think they're always going to cause team problems on the break with Somerville and Bowen in attack. They brought 2 new strikers in now. I think even if the mentality is a bit weak, I still think overall they'll be hard to beat, strong defensively. I think they've got a chance. Obviously, Forest got a much better squad on paper, but with Sean Dyche as the manager, you never know. Palace, they're getting dragged into it. Leeds, obviously, they've been on a good run, but they got battered on the weekend. I thought they'd give Arsenal a game, but 4-0, they could get dragged back into it. So I still think West Ham have definitely got a chance. Although the red card at the end wasn't ideal, although it did make me laugh. When Joao Pedro went for the Dharma Traore, his face when he seen him coming at him, yeah, I'm not too sure what he was doing there, but I think he regretted it. But yeah, that's another centre back out as well, so it's not ideal for West Ham, but I still think there'll be another chance.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure. And if any of you people watching are West Ham fans, the latest update we've had is the club are saying the Disasi deal is still on, but the player is making more demands. If you don't laugh, you cry. Absolutely ridiculous. But we'll come to that in the transfer show afterwards. A couple of comments before we move on. Bowen mischance cost us. Went through on goal, just had to hit it hard and low, but he hit it at a nice height for the Chelsea keeper and saved it. Listen, it's anyone's game, really. I think we'll go. If I'm honest, I think we will go, but there's still a hope. If we lose to Burnley next week, then we are down. But there's still a glimmer there. The good thing is we've dragged teams back into it. Palace are dropping like a stone. They've just signed Jurgen Strand Larsen for £48 million or something ridiculous like that, or 38, or just something daft.
Have you
So
though
they've.
or not?
Pardon?
You said you dragged teams back into it. I said, have you though?
I think so. Yeah.
Was the gap ever any bigger than 6 points?
6 points to Leeds. 6 points. So we've got. I think is it 6 points to Leeds, and then is it 7 to Forest, and then 8 to Spurs and Palace.
Yeah,
isn't
but
it? Or you're on
was the
9, aren't
gap
you?
ever
But
smaller than that though? If you what I'm bigger than that. What I'm saying is, have you closed the gap at all?
well, I mean, we won 2, and Palace are dropping like a stone. Palace were out of it, and Palace are dropping. I mean, they might pick up, fine, but all of a sudden, if Palace lose at the weekend, they've got Forest. If they, well, I mean, a draw will be better. I think they've got Forest, or one of those teams have got Leeds, I think. But there's teams that can still be dragged even further into it.
I think quick point on the gig. I did watch it. In fact, I've only watched 3 games at the weekend. And that was one. I think I said when you beat Tottenham, I said this, and you beat Sunderland since, or was that before Tottenham? And this game, I still don't know what to make of West Ham really, because I don't know whether you've done well in some of those games, but you've also accepted Tottenham were a shocking first half. Sunderland, who were in free fall result wise, were terrible when you went. And Chelsea, the first 45 minutes is probably the worst I've seen them in a few years. Like bad, like some of the loose passes were unbelievable. So I don't know whether West Ham have done well and forced this, or whether you've just bumped into some teams in horrific form. Like if you look at the form table, Sunderland and Tottenham are both in the bottom 5 of the form table. So that backs that up. And I think you've got Burnley at the weekend, and I think they're also in the bottom of near the bottom of the form table as well. So I can't work West Ham out at the moment. I don't know whether you've improved much or whether you've just fortunately bumped into 2 teams in horrendous form, which is great for you, and picked up 6 points out of the most recent 9. Is that right?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I don't know. But great if you manage to land on your feet there. Do you know what I mean? So, but I just don't know whether it's a lot to do with you. We've all agreed the opposition have been horrendous. Do you know what I mean? Will that continue? I don't know. I think it's quite obvious in the games when teams have started poorly and sat back, you look better. But as soon as a team thinks, right, we got to roll the sleeves up and go at you, then you obviously look very fragile. Like you did look a lot more fragile against Spurs in the second half, and you end up winning it. The thing is with Burnley, I haven't watched him loads this year, but I noticed what Scott Parker said last year. He's not known for going at teams all out. Even though he should look at tonight and the weekend is 6 pointers, he's got to go and win. I don't think it's in his nature to go all guns blazing. So the Burnley game, again, terrible form. They're probably going to just try and keep it tight. That might draw you on and might suit you. But like I said, the last 3-4 games, I just can't. I can't work West Ham out. I can't work out whether they've improved or whether they've just had the luck of the fixtures. I'm
I
not
think
sure.
it's I think it's I think it's probably been symptomatic of the Premier League this season. Look, no team is amazing. We're not going to run into any world beaters between now and the end of the season. Nobody's been amazing. I've noticed a difference, and yeah, I mean, certainly up front we've looked a lot more threatening than we did prior to the 2 strikers coming in, and they seem to have a good 50 minutes, and then they seem to grift out of games. But look, we'll see. We'll see. I don't think we're ever going to come to a conclusion with that, Sean, because nobody's any good, to be honest. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Let's move on and let's go up to Old Trafford. Manchester United 3, Fulham 2. Sean, it is the Carrick train rolling on, but it looked like it wasn't going to for a while.
No, it didn't. He's got a free pass there, only. Let's be honest. Do you know what I mean? They could quite easily get into I'm going to say top 5 for Champions League. I haven't heard a lot about that this year, so I assume it might be top 5 again. He's just got a free hitter, and he's fresh coming in. Probably the players had enough of the old manager. He's got, to my knowledge, no major injury issues to deal with. He's playing 1 game a week. They're out of the cups, so he's got a free hit, and there's no reason why the state of the Premier League why he shouldn't be. I think what they won 3 in a row, something like that, or maybe more. I think they're top of the form table. I looked at it before I come on. So he's not going to keep repeating myself. He's got a free hit. There's already talk from the former players. I don't like. They talk far too much in the media. They're already saying no matter how well he does, he shouldn't get the job. I would think, well, fair enough. Maybe I don't want the job. So he's got 3-4 months to go out there and build his own CV up, and he's got nothing to lose. So I think that people are praising some of his subs, like when he might take off a defender and put on an attacker. Again, it doesn't matter if they end up losing 3 in a row. It's not going to matter to him. He's just going to be if they end up losing 3 in a row and the keeper chucks them in, they'll just be as bad as the last couple of managers. So what
Yeah.
what does it matter? So he may as well go for it. Do you know what I mean? And like I said, they just about got over the line in this one, but they could quite easily get into Europe. I was chatting my work colleague's a United fan. And I said to him, I said, say well, down to eighth, I'd imagine it is for Europe, isn't it? Probably now. I said there's going to be at least 2 or 3 very, very average size getting into Europe this year, and I know it's not
2 or
just
3.
England.
There's going to be about 6 average size getting into Europe.
Yeah, and I know it's not just England because you just got to look at the Champions League group standings in the end. I think we had 4 in the top 8, didn't we? Or 5 maybe, I can't remember. So it's not just us. I've seen a few games in Europe. It's not just us. Even in the La Liga in Spain, do you know what I mean? Real Madrid fans probably haven't been this unhappy in 20 years, probably, and they're one of the first ones to voice if they're unhappy. They're just not having the players whatsoever. So there's probably many reasons for it, but the standards dropped off. What game are we talking about? United here, and they do look a little bit more entertaining to watch because they're going for it. Teams under no pressure whatsoever. With the shackles off, they're under no pressure whatsoever. Nothing. All right, nothing
Mm.
at all. So I think you're going to look a bit more entertaining, a bit more fun, a bit more going for it, a bit more, even maybe a little bit more gun ho at times. Do you know what I mean? So fair play to them. Maybe they probably got the sack in time probably about right. The league when he went, I don't know what I'd say it was like now, but it was very, very tight. Like every day you'd hear, oh, if so and so wins tomorrow, they move up to 7th. Do you know what I
Mm.
mean? And it was very tight. So you strung 3 or 4 results together before you know it, you are in 4th. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, we're not gonna. Football is taking a little bit of a downturn on quality. I think Champions League's a little bit different, more different to watch because teams are a little bit more open. I find seem to get the style is just very different in the Champions League. You seem to get a lot more space, maybe a little bit more end to end. Do you know what I mean? It's not just. I think we're so rigid. Most teams in the Premier League, when you get the ball, you've got 2 or 3 on you. Do you know what I mean? The plays are very
There we go.
expensive.
See the magic conundrum, right? The Champions League's better because Spurs are 4th in that, and they're 14th in the Premier League. See the
It's
magic
it's
conundrum.
definitely it's definitely better games to watch because of the space you're given. I
Yeah.
think it's a lit. I think it's a lit. I haven't put my finger on it completely, but I don't know whether the defences are sitting back and it's leaving big gaping holes in midfield. I'm not quite sure, but you seem to see a lot more end-to-end football, and yeah, it has been a little bit more fun to watch. I think I don't like the group stage, but the games have been a
It's a bit
little bit,
tedious.
a
Yeah.
little. The games have been a little bit less rigid and a little bit less negative, which I think the Premier League probably brings at the moment.
It does. It does. Right, let's go to Villa Park now. Josh, what is going on? Aston Villa 0, Brentford 1. Just 2 defeats on a bounce at home. What is happening for Aston Villa? Is it the wobble that you've all been sort of waiting for?
I'm not sure. It's hard to say because I thought after Everton at home, I thought you looked after that. We played Fenerbahce away and then Newcastle away, and off the back of the Everton defeat, and I thought, okay, this is going to be our mini blip here. There's a chance we could lose 3 in a row, but then hopefully after that we'll bounce back. But then we go to Fenerbahce and Newcastle, and it was 2 great performances really over them the course of them 2 games. Could have had 5 or 6 goals, I'd say. Fenerbahce sort of playing into our hands. I couldn't believe how open they were. Could have had 3 or 4 in that game, and Newcastle as well, just a really professional away performance. So to be honest, I'm not sure if this is like a blip. Usually we've been brilliant at home. I think we only lost 1 league game at home all season last season. It's the first time we've lost back-to-back home games in over 2 years. So usually we're much better at home than we are away. But at the minute, I just think the main problem is we can't seem to play against low blocks, and I think that's been the issue all season. Even when we were winning, the way we'd usually win against low blocks is by scoring a worldie. And there's been a few occasions against low blocks where that's happened. There was Wolves at home, Kamara, an absolute screamer from outside the area, West Ham, couple of really good goals, Leeds away, free kick. There's been a couple of times against poor sides in the bottom half who just going to come and put 10 men behind the ball, and we just can't seem to break them down. Our slow sort of patient build up, it just doesn't seem to it just doesn't seem to work. I think it favours teams. I think that probably is the way to beat Villa. Just sit back and be defensively organised, because when a team goes down to 10 men against Villa, we must be the best team to go down to 10 men against, because we really just don't move the ball quick enough. Just our slow style of play, it just makes it easy for teams. And yesterday it was sort of more the same. There was a really good feel good factor before the game with obviously Tammy Abraham coming back, sort of modern day club icon, if you will, played a big part in getting the club back to where they are now. Scored 25 goals in the season in the Championship. Douglas Luiz coming back as well, our player of the season. The year we finished fourth. So really good sort of mood around the place before the game. And then it started first half, for we weren't great, to be honest, quite lacklustre again as usual after we come off the back of a European game. Sort of looked a bit leggy. They actually had more of the ball until the sending off. Had one half sort of chance. Abraham, Kelleher made a decent save. It was a half chance really. Abraham did well to get on the end of it. One chance from a set piece. And that was about it. They were causing a few threats on the counter with the quick forwards. Ouattara, Sharda, Thiago didn't look comfortable at the back. Torres getting bullied whenever he plays a big striker as usual. And then the sending off, you think, okay, 60 minutes against 10 men, surely we win this. And then literally 2 minutes later, they go up the other end and score. And in the second half, you sort of just feel like if we get one, we should go on and win this. And we just didn't. As I say, we just weren't moving the ball quick enough, made it easy for them, created very little. However, what I will say is the disallowed goal, I honestly thought was a disgrace. How they can go back that far. Not sure if you've seen it, but basically they've claimed that the ball goes out of play in the build up to the goal, but it was 19 seconds before, and the ball goes out of play. It's based on an own corner flag, and if you look at the sort of the law on it, it's on about this phase of play, and it can only go back so far to when the attacking phase starts. So if that's right, they've basically got it as our attack has started by our own corner flag, and that's just, for me, it doesn't seem right at all. The ball on one angle, it does look out of play, and then not on another angle, it doesn't. You've got no conclusive evidence to see that the full ball is out. And it's a bit like, do you remember that Newcastle one the other year against Arsenal, where I think they gave the goal and there was questions whether the ball was out or not, but it did look out from a couple of angles, but they couldn't really prove that the whole ball was out. It was a bit like that, and that got given. But to be honest, whether the ball was out or not, I don't think they should be going back that far. Like, for me, it's a completely different phase of play. The attack clearly didn't start by our own corner flag. It is sort of a quick counter attack, but for me, I think that should be classed as a different phase of play. I don't get how an attack can start by their own corner flag. And even so, for me, they've got no conclusive evidence to say the ball was out of play. It's not clear and obvious from every angle it's out of play. So I thought that was a little bit of a joke, to be honest. Abraham getting his first goal on his sort of second debut, it would have been nice. And I think with the momentum, we probably would have won the game. However, it's a factor why we didn't win, but you can't just fully blame that, because, like I say, I don't think we were good enough at all. Don't think we moved the ball quick enough. The tempo was too slow. Yeah, again, Brentford, just like Everton a few weeks ago, I don't think they were anything special. They were compact, they were defensively organised, that's about it. Second half, they took all the quick plays after they moved the threat on the break, and they just defended the box well, that's all. It didn't have to be anything special. It's 3 times we've lost to Brentford this season, knocked out the cup, beat us away, and now beat us in the league. I think we had 75% possession plus in both league games as well. So not our favourite team to play. I've seen a lot of people saying it's a disaster for Villa, we're going to crumble now. I'm a little bit worried, especially because the first time all teams behind us won this weekend, which doesn't usually happen. Usually one of Liverpool, United and Chelsea will drop points. But if you look at it, I think we've got 14 games left. If we win 7, that should put us on 67 points, which should be enough for top 5, maybe a couple of draws. So we've only got to win half our remaining games, and I'd absolutely back us to do that still, to get in the Champions League. Obviously we're still in Europe, last 16 of Europe, still in the FA Cup, but I'd absolutely back us to win 7 or 14, which should get us Champions League. So I'm not too worried. Like I said, I think much better when teams come on to us and have a go. Got Bournemouth away next week. They're definition of that. They leave a lot of space in behind. They're very gung ho. Hopefully that should play into our hands a little bit. So I'm not too worried. But yeah,
You'll
back to
be
back home
fine.
defeats. Yeah, it's a bit concerning, but I'm still confident we'll finish in the top 5.
There we go. I think you will as well. It'll be a pretty colossal fall off to not finish in the top 5, but we will see what happens in the remaining weeks for that. Right, let's finish up at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs 2, Manchester City 2. Sean, you have 3 minutes. Go.
Well, Josh, you just spent 3 minutes talking about a throw-in, so I don't know. What you say it was a good result for Spurs, I suppose. We've got the worst injuries in Europe again. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if you've seen the team we had to throw together. We got midfielders playing it right back. We got midfielders playing at centre half. We
You've got
got
the ball
players
boy
that
on
are
the bench.
we got players that are ill and that have to come off at half time. Do you know what I mean? We had 3 injuries in the week. Danso's his tendons become detached on his toe or something. Apparently, that's quite a big injury. Could be out for a month. Do you know what I mean? It is. The injuries are absolutely horrific, and we haven't got the free pass. Like I said, Carrick's got United because we've got Champions League to play as well. It was 2-2. I know people. There's a little bit of contention about the first goal. Was it a foul? Was it not? Don't really care. Do you know what I mean? You got to move on from these decisions. Do you know what I mean? I've seen all the replays today, and it might have been a foul. I don't think it's that obvious. He might. Do you know what I mean? It's one of those ones where the laws say it might be a foul, but I think it's quite good that it wasn't given. Do you know what I mean? Some laws I think are a bit too over the top. I think that'd be one of them. But whether it give us a bit of momentum, I'm not sure. I think we said last week we dropped points against the poorer sides and picked something up when it was the bigger teams. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, 2-2 is not a bad result. The sad reality is we have been sucked down in a little bit of a small dogfight where we have got to pick up the odd point here and there, and all we can do is hope and pray that 2, 3, 4 players can come back reasonably soon. But yeah, I suppose I don't think it's not a brilliant result for either team, is it? Really, I think both teams. I think Tottenham fans would have liked they need a home win. Man City need to win every single game to have a sniff at a title, and that's just not going to happen, is it? But yeah, I'll keep it as short as that. I'm reasonably happy, but on to the next one. I think we got United away Saturday lunchtime.
I mean, to be fair, you would have taken 2-2 at half time, wouldn't you? I think you'd have
Yeah,
probably taken 3-0 at half time, wouldn't you?
yeah, yeah. You take it, wouldn't you? But you can tell in my voice it's hard to feel too upbeat about it at the moment.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Right, we will leave it there. For any of you watching, we will now head over. I'm going to take a 10-minute break, 15-minute break, so I can put a pizza in the air fryer and eat it. Join us back here at 7:45. We still don't know whether Axel Disasi is going to be a hammer, so that is all to unpack. Join us back here at 7:45. Sean and Josh, thank you very much indeed. I will see you next week. It is a pleasure as always.
Yeah.
And you, mate. Same
we
back
go.
to you.
Have a good rest of the week, and I'll see you both next week, and then I'll see you all very shortly right here on West Ham Unofficial. Bye-bye.